Alright guys, AshbyFC here, and welcome to the very first episode of a brand new series in the channel where I'm going to be going back to the glory days of gaming and reviewing some retro classics, mostly from my childhood. And I'm going to be kicking this thing off with the mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Holy shit! Power Rangers was the shit back in the 90s. If you were a boy who grew up in the 90s and you didn't like the Power Rangers, well, there must have been something seriously wrong with you. I had all the toys, a whole bunch of VHS tapes, posters, pajamas, a whole bunch of other Power Rangers shit, you name it, I had it all. And every morning before school there would be an episode on TV, and I'd never miss a damn one. I even remember in primary school, the teacher asking the class what we all want to be when we grew up. And of course you got kids saying things like, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be a pilot, policeman, footballer, all the typical stuff. Well, what do you think I said? Yeah, you're damn right. I want to be a Power Ranger. And I remember that not going down well with the teacher at all, and she actually told me off. Fucking bitch. Anyway, of course, my obsession with the Power Rangers and being a big gamer, I had to have had the games too. So that brings us to the mighty Morphin Power Rangers for the Super Nintendo, released in 1994, amongst one of the very first Power Rangers games ever released. I got it for a birthday present back in the day, played the crap out of it, absolutely loved it. So the game is a typical side-scrolling beat-em-up, some of my favourite types of games to play growing up. And would you listen to that 16-bit rendition of the Power Rangers theme? Without a doubt, the Power Rangers theme is the greatest theme ever. That's fact, people. So, you can choose from the 5 original Power Rangers, those being the Red Ranger, Blue Ranger, Black Ranger, Pink Ranger, and the Yellow Ranger. For some reason, there was no Green Ranger, who I'm pretty sure was in the show by the time this game released. So, a little bit disappointing he's not in there, but whatever. So the game plays across 7 levels, or as the game calls them, areas, with areas 6 and 7 being strictly boss fights. So much like many of the beat-em-ups, well, you beat the shit out of everything on screen before moving on to the next screen. Pretty straightforward. The enemies in the game are mostly putties from the show, those really weird looking things that sounded like turkeys or something. Like, seriously, what the hell were they? Anyways, the game progresses, you'll encounter different coloured putties, some of them taking more hits to kill and others being a bit more aggressive. Some will have shields, some will have the odd weapon as well. You also encounter a few other enemies that hurt you along the way, mainly these aerial-like robots that fire lasers and stuff at you, as well as some spiky shit along the way. Also, sometimes barrels will randomly roll across the screen. Don't know what the fuck that's about. So the gameplay is pretty simple as far as beat-em-ups go, with the Power Rangers only having a few attacks, those being punching, a crouch attack, a jump attack, and a throw. Although each Ranger does have a different animation for each one. So for each stage you're going to start off in your regular teenage form, then about halfway through you'll encounter the area boss, and then it's fucking morphin' time. Yeah, now you're a Power Ranger ready to kick some serious putty arse. And in your Ranger form you can use your weapon. So Jason has his sword, Billy has his lance, Zack has his axe, Trini has the daggers, and Kimberly has the bow. And also with Kimberly you can actually fire arrows with the bow, but unfortunately it does shit all in terms of damage, so it's much more effective to just smash the heads in with the bow itself. Also, as a Ranger, you can use a special bomb attack, which shows a cool little effect on screen and displays the power coin of the Ranger you're playing as well as damaging all the enemies on the screen. I personally used to save it for the boss fights, but you can use it whenever the hell you want. It looks pretty cool. In each stage, you can find some items, usually in containers you'll need to destroy. These include health, such as medpacks, and chicken, as well as another bomb power-up you can sometimes find in the stage. You really only tend to find one of each per stage. Also, why is chicken so often being used as a health item? Never really understood that. Anyway, the stages are pretty straightforward. So as I said, you beat the shit out of the putties, moving from screen to screen, morph halfway through, beat up some more putties, and then you'll face the boss at the end of each stage, each one being taken straight from the first season of the TV series. And also, I gotta say, the music in this game is pretty damn good. So stage 1, sorry, area 1 as the game calls them. It's an outdoor area. There are a few instances where you can throw benches at the enemies, which is always fun. And for some reason there's a couple of cars you can smash the shit out of until they explode. Again, don't know why that's a thing, but it is. And at the end of the stage, area, you'll encounter Bones, who's super easy and you should really have no problem taking this little bony wanker down. So area 2, you're going to start outside a warehouse where random barrels roll across the screen, and the second part takes place in a warehouse. This is where you're going to encounter your first platforming section, mainly jumping upwards and swinging upwards. Pretty straightforward as far as platforming goes. There isn't a whole lot of it. Well, there is also a wall jump, a little bit like Ninja Gaiden, I guess. Anyway, at the end of this area, you're going to face Gnarly Gnome. And really, there is nothing gnarly about this prick. He's also super easy, just teleports around the screen trying to hit you with his rake. His attacks are easy to avoid, and he's really easy to hit, so yeah. Push over. Area 3 is a bit annoying, because water. I hate water in video games, always have, and always will. But I guess it's actually not too bad, especially compared to some other games. It's just really the second part of the area where the water level raises and lowers. So while you're swimming, you can't attack. But I guess it doesn't really cause much frustration. It's just a little bit annoying as you're having to wait for it to lower again so you can crack the fuck on. Anyway, the boss of the area is Eye Guy. While a little bit harder than the previous two, it's still pretty easy. You just gotta watch out for that laser shoot from his eye. Other than that, yeah. Area 4 starts off in some random building where chandeliers fall from the ceiling for some random reason. Also, you gotta punch the fuck out of some doors, because why not? The second half is up top, which looks like it's still under construction and features a little bit more of the basic platforming. And the area boss is the Genie. He's also very easy, just sort of teleports left and right. Most of his attacks are pretty easy to avoid if you stand in the right place, and again, he's pretty easy to hit, so again, shouldn't really cause you any problems. Area 5, we're in a cave now for some fucking reason, and then the second part, we're in this room full of computers and shit. I really don't know what these stages are about. They're really nothing special. You could pretty much say that about all of them, I guess. They're all a bit generic and random, to be honest with you. But at the very end, though, you do have to avoid a giant fuck-off laser beam as you move forward. And the area boss is Dark Warrior, and I'll admit, I did struggle a little with this guy as a kid, but now I actually find him super easy. The main thing is just to avoid his bomb, which he throws as he jumps over you. Apart from that, pretty much all his attacks can be interrupted, so just charge and give him hell. Anyway, with Area 5 done, you move on to the final two areas, which consist of two boss fights. Also, it's time to call upon the Megazord. Hell yeah, like, holy shit, I freaked the fuck out when I saw this as a kid. It was so cool, and I just wasn't expecting it. I was blown away. So I guess at this point the game becomes a bit more of a fighting game, I guess, and your first fight is going to be against Mutitus. He's not too hard. Just charge and kick the hell out of him and clobber him with your sword, and that's pretty much all there is to it. You can also let the meter build up at the bottom for special attacks. The more it fills up, the more powerful the attack's going to be. But I just prefer to charge and just beat the crap out of him. That's just my way. Anyway, once you've beat Conjunctivitis, it's time for the final stage and the final boss. Yeah, already. The setting is pretty cool though. It takes place in front of Rita Repulsa's tower, who's the main antagonist of the TV show. Well, I guess at least until Lord Zed came along. So your final boss of the game is Cyclopsis, and I really did actually struggle with this guy as a kid. He beat the crap out of me, and I found myself looking at way too many game over screens. He can definitely be a challenge first time round. I mean, he royally pissed me off. He's pretty quick and pretty aggressive, he's good at blocking your attacks, and he can do a lot of damage as well. Now here's the deal. It's one of those arsehole boss fights where you drain the life meter, think you've got the bastard beat, only for the twat bag to get all of his health back, you're back at square one. So ideally, you want to take as little damage as possible for the first section of this fight. Now eventually I did learn a super easy way to murk this dude. Just charge at him and spam your overhead sword attack. He really can't block it, and it does a hell of a lot of damage. It may be cheap as fuck, but fuck it, the guy's a dick. Anyway, once you beat the crap out of this shitbag, that's it. Game's beat, game's done. You create with a little scene of all the Rangers in a car, and then they've got the juice bar featured in the show. For some reason, Zack's breakdancing. And yeah, that's it, that's the game. So yeah, I mean overall, it's a super simple and very straightforward game as far as beat-em-ups go. There really isn't a whole lot of replay value. and it is incredibly short and a little bit too on the easy side. It really doesn't give you much of a challenge. I definitely would have liked to see more variation in the stages and the enemies, and I definitely would have loved to have seen more stages with the Megazord. 2 just ain't enough, goddammit. But, you know, all that aside, I still think it's a fun little game. It's worth a play at least once, especially if, like me, you're a die-hard Power Rangers fan. I got a lot of great memories of the game, a lot of nostalgia. I did really enjoy it as a kid, and I can still enjoy it now, going, you know, back through it. Despite its simplicity, I still think it's fun. So, yeah, that's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for you on the Super Nintendo. Now, of course, there were a few other Mighty Morphin Power Rangers games released across a few different systems, including 2 games based upon the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, which I loved, one being on the Super Nintendo, the other being on the Sega Mega Drive. I may just review those in the future. There was also a fighting game as well, actually, and there was also, I think, another fighting game. Oh, actually, I think it was a quick time event game on the Sega CD, if I remember correctly. Never actually played that one, so I can't comment. But anyway, guys, there you go. There's my little quick review of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on the Super Nintendo. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon with some more retro goodness. Or shitness. I'm not necessarily just reviewing good games. I played some shitty games back in the day. No, before anyone asks, I will not review Superman 64. Go fuck yourself.